right, here we go. 5 a.m. Saturday, September 3rd, opening day here in Kentucky. It is 72 degrees. Calling for a little light rain right before sunup. Sunup is 7:15, I think. So got a little drive out here to the farm and we'll get set up. I was not going to hunt. If y'all watched my previous episode, I said I wasn't going to hunt until the afternoon, but on that card pool, I actually have some good intel of these deer moving through there right at sunup up through almost 9 o'clock. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to slide in here, throw up a pop-up blind, one just for the rain and the camera gear, and two, don't really have a good tree to ambush these deer on that point where they're coming by and hitting that mock scrape. So guys, we're headed out. I know Keenan's headed out. I'm not sure about Drew this morning, but Keenan and Sean both headed out. So I'm headed that way. Wish me luck. Man, it is hot, humid. It's lightning in the distance. It's supposed to start raining any time now. It's going to rain for about 30-45 minutes and then clear out for about an hour and a half. So I don't know. I'm hot. I'm sweating my butt off. Thank goodness I didn't have to hike too far back here. But I got that phase. Got the field foam. I'm getting lathered up. But bow's ready. Camera's ready. I'm ready for that sun to come up. Let's go. Not happy. All right, so back at the house. It's right at 11 o'clock. Went ahead and came out in between the little rain sprinkle showers we were having. We had a break, so broke everything down, hiked out of there. Not a total bust. Has seen, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 deer. Right at gray light this morning. Had a doe and two fawns headed my way down that grass road, and I just knew she was going to blow me out because based on the way my wind was supposed to be going this morning, it should have been going right towards her. And there's no way, as much as I sweat and everything getting in there, it's just been miserable, humid, hot all morning. And but she got there. I mean, she stopped and she was just sitting there looking at the blind, and then moseyed on about her way about 10 yards from the blind. So her and her two fawns went by, and then right at first light, there were several more deer down in that bottom, about 120 yards away. And then the food plot was packed, but that's why I didn't go over there. The early season like this, if you try to get into a food plot or on a food source, more than likely in the mornings, you're going to bust your deer out. So typically I don't hunt mornings this early in the season, but had that intel saying that those some of the target bucks on the farm were hitting that licking branch right there that was 12 yards from my setup. And the way the wind was blowing, I figured I'd be good. So didn't blow anything out today. One of the cool stories is that, you know, just sitting there reminiscing about old hunts on that farm. And on opening day in 2019, I was sitting in a big oak on the point of that field, 210 yards away. And I filmed my target buck that year, which was Kamikaze, and his little sidekick, early season sidekick, a deer we called Frisky. But both of them came out and went right in front of where I was hunting today. I'm talking less than a 10-yard shot. But today, as I was filming those deer coming out of the food plot or over in the food plot, I look over and I just seen antlers go from basically the corner of the food plot over the hill towards that stand. So it just, you know, luck of the draw, you know, where you're going to sit and where the deer are going to show up at. But 2019, I was sitting 210 yards away, and they walked right in front of where I was at today. 2022, buck went right to that stand. So here and there, I don't think it was a shooter buck. I think it was that, it should be an 8-point, but he doesn't have brow tines, or he's a little nubby brow tines, so still a 6. And then pulled that camera card, and last night we had both 6 points, which is one of the tight rack 6 and then that big mature 6, both come in about 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. So not a total bust, but we are done for opening day. I'm not going to hunt tonight. Got a bunch of weather moving in. It's supposed to rain on and off all week for the next 10-day forecast. So we'll see what it looks like. And we'll just keep moving cameras around and keep doing the things until we start figuring these deer out. It's just really hard for me right now because it's going to be hard not to shoot that big, slick 8. I mean, he is sharp. He's got big bases. He's at least 5 years old. I've got 3 years of history with that deer. And it really is going to be hard not to put an arrow through that deer. But I know that here in just several weeks, I say several weeks, but about the second week of October going into November, these 2 monster 10 points, which have always been 10 points, it could be no telling what today, they start showing up on this farm. And I hate to already have punched my tag and take me out of the game for that. So I don't know. We'll see. I see that 8-point in person, and he tickles my fancy enough, though. Might have to give him a dirt nap. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for the opening day here in Kentucky, and we will get back to you real soon. I know the guys are out, Sean's out, Keenan's out this morning, so I'm sure I'll probably add some of their footage into this. When I was texting them earlier, they hadn't seen anything, but either way, this is the beginning of a long grind, and I've got a bunch of tags to punch. So I've got 2 buck tags on federal land. I've got my statewide tag. I've got Ohio tag already. Got Indiana tag already. So guys, it's going to be an exciting season. Continue to tune in. If you haven't already, get down there and hit that subscribe button. Smash that little bell so you're notified when we're dropping these new episodes. Make sure you come along for the ride. All right, so it's Sunday, September 4th, day 2 of the 2022 season. And as you can tell, I did not get out this morning. Just had some things around the house to get done this morning. Plus this rain coming on and off. I mean, literally there's rain in the forecast for like the next 10 days. So depending on where we're at tonight at about 4 o'clock, if it's not pouring, I'm probably headed out. But I'm at the back of the truck with the bow. Yesterday, I went ahead and got the new trophy taker stabilizer. Went ahead and mounted my GoPro. The GoPro mount worked perfect with that. So I got the new stabilizer on, threw a couple arrows down range. Everything worked great. This thing is still tuned in perfectly. I also got the trophy taker drop away rest, but I don't have time today to get that installed and dialed back in. And I already know this thing's perfect. So got the stabilizer on with the GoPro, so that'll work out perfect, make it easier for those action shots. And then really excited, I got that Ramcat, those Ramcat broadheads in today. So this is the Deep 6, and I'm telling you guys, I've ran these before. They literally fly like field points. I have some other fixed blades on there that I've ran past year or two, and I just really feel like they changed the trajectory of that arrow. So yeah, we're going back to the Ramcat. Really excited about that. Also got the Ramcat quiver to ensure that those broadheads are not getting dulled every time I'm taking one in and out of the quiver itself. So just gonna get the new quiver installed, and yeah, we'll let a couple eat down range here and get ready to hit the woods tonight. So continue to hang in there, and hopefully we're at least bringing you some good action from the field before too long. Stay tuned. All right, so by the way, these are some of the sharpest broadheads, the blades, that from directly out of the box. I'm not having to freaking tune them up or you know, shave them down or anything myself, but just super sharp, and at the same time deadly accurate. So whenever you get to this phase, make sure you're being really careful getting these things out of the packaging. So on the back, I just like to go put my thumb on there, right on the other side of that blade. Use the plastic to protect me against the blade itself on the other side. Open it up, let them fall right out. Also comes with an Allen wrench, so you can make sure everything's tightened up on the blade itself. Ramcat, baby. Yeah, look at that. Hopefully that's focusing. Let's send some downrange. All right, here we go. Back at it again. It is September 6th. So I've elected to stay out of the woods just based on the weather here lately. Probably hear that. This last piece of this storm is getting ready to move past us. We'll talk about that in a second. But it has been hot, miserable hot, and then torrential downpours, and my wind has been in the total wrong direction for this setup. As you just seen, opening morning, I did bear the heat, bared the weather, got out here. If nothing else, just to bring you guys some content, but dang if I didn't almost have a heat stroke sitting in that blind all morning. So just soaked when I came out of there and miserable. But I did see a lot of deer. I think I seen 10, 11 deer that day. And I saw one of our target bucks. I didn't get him on video, but he was leaving the food plot and going towards that other stand that I had set up. I think I told you guys about that the other day. But he was walking over there, and about 10:30 I rolled out. Stayed out of there ever since, but today I'm excited. We've had on and off rain all day. It just got done pouring rain, but this system is starting to move out, and by about 6 o'clock it should be totally out of here, and it's bringing a cold front behind it. Barometric pressure is high. The rain's moving out. I think these deer have probably been bedded up most of the day because of the rain, so they should get up on their feet and start heading to food. And hopefully I'll be sitting there to, if nothing else, get them on video. But if one of these big old mature bucks walk by, it's going to be hard not to dart one of them. I would say give them a dirt nap, but as much as it has rained, it's going to be a mud nap, and we're going to have to go track that thing in this stuff. But guys, I'm excited. My wind is perfect tonight. It's going to be hitting me in the face all the way in. And it's actually going to progressively get better as the night goes on. So really excited about tonight's hunt. First time I've really felt good, like, hey, let's get out there. All the stuff's lining up for us. And we're only, 3 days into the season, but pretty excited about this day. So keep hanging in, and I hope I'm bringing you some really good action here before too long. It's humid, but that rain's finally moving out, and I'm all set up. So I got a little wet coming in. But I just want to talk a little bit about my setup because, as you can tell, it's tight quarters in here. I really like the mobility of this little bitty pop-up blind. It folds up and goes into a bag. I can throw it right on my back. It doesn't weigh anything, but it's tight in here, especially for bow hunting. With a rifle or crossbow, you can get away with a little bit more, but with an actual compound bow, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. So first and foremost is this stand right here. I want my bow at the ready, and I don't want to have to be moving around. Typically when you're blind hunting, it's hard to have a bow or an arrow knocked in your bow. A lot of times you see that potential target, and then you knock an arrow and then bring your bow up and hold it. This way, my bow's at the ready. It's to my right, so I'll pick it up, move it over to my left hand, and that's going to allow me to come up and hook my release to it, come up, settle in. But I'm only hunting out these two small windows up here. So guys, it is tight quarters, not only in here, but I'm not going to see that deer until it comes around that point right there, or it comes from my left. But if I take a shot, more than likely it's going to be 5 to 12 yards in this area, unless they walk a little bit further away, which would be more ideal because I do have a little strand of barbed wire out here in front of me. But I just want to go through a couple things. First and foremost, when you're hunting in any blind situation, any gear you're not using, get it behind you. Don't leave it out front. When you see that buck and you get that buck fever and you start thinking about everything you got to do to take an ethical shot on an animal, the last thing you want to do is kicking stuff and trying to move things around. I'm already self-filming, so I've got the tripod to contend with. The last thing I want to do is have a bunch of gear laid out in front of me that I'm having to, trample over or kick or make noise. So all my gear, everything I'm not using, is stored behind me, out of the way. The only thing that's in front of me is the tripod and the camera, so that I can maneuver that around. Another thing, this tripod, I've got, God dang, that was a big old fox squirrel ran right past me. I mean, like right there. Jeez, I wonder what my face looked like. Hell, he was the same color as a deer. I thought a deer done jumped in there. And that's how it'd be, guys. I mean, these deer, I'm not going to see them unless they come around that point and start hitting that licking branch right there and tearing that mock scrape up. But anyway, get back to the tripod. So I got this tripod condensed down so the footprint is smaller and it's not like all three legs aren't sticking out wider. So it's not as stable, but at the same time, it's not taking up as much of a space or a footprint within my shooting area. Because again, I mean, guys, I'm shooting out these two front windows. It's basically all I got. Might as well just shut this window because I can't see anything there anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's tight quarters in here, so try to make if you're self-filming, make your tripod or camera situation as small as possible. Keep all your gear behind you and have your bow at the ready. And these little rests, I don't remember, I think HE something or whatever. I just picked it up at Academy, but that thing's been a lifesaver because I've never had one from a ground blind situation. And I always set my bow to the side and then knock an arrow as I see a target or potential target. So, and then I'm sitting there holding the bow and trying to maneuver the camera. Now that the bow is all set up with an arrow knocked, I can move the camera, get it situated, reach over, grab my bow, and it should be a lot more seamless. But I just want to talk a little bit about kind of what my setup is when you're in these tight quarters and hunting from the ground blind. As you can hear, that rain is still raining just a little bit, but the clouds are breaking up, the skies are clearing out, and hopefully the next 3.5 hours here are going to be pretty spectacular. So, like I said before, keep hanging in there. Hopefully that helped you a little bit. But keep tuning in. Hopefully we'll have a little luck tonight. I just got back in the truck, and man, what an action-packed night. I mean, from start to finish, literally within minutes of getting things set up, I look over and I see the first little fawn come out about 200 yards out the top of that hill. And from that point forward, well, I saw the turkey first. So when I saw the turkeys, I texted the guys, all right, guys, turkey are out. Deer are going to be showing up any minute. And I mean, this was at like 5:30, 5:40. And sure enough, about as quick as I got done hitting send on that, I look up and saw that fawn was out. And then just all night long, just a parade of deer from every direction, to include right next to me. I think I got it. So I was filming the turkey and literally had a deer come around that point that I told you it's a blind point, and we locked eyes, and I'm talking about we saw each other's soul, and she blew out of there. And so 12 yards, had a deer walk up. And then again tonight at the end here, I had 2 fawns come out of that same way, that same draw, and I was trying to take a picture of the sunset, send it to my wife, and boom, one of the fawns blew at me. I've never even heard a fawn blow before, but it took off back in the woods where it came from. And then as it was starting, the sun was starting to set, or the sun was set, I saw a doe come out from the right, and here comes 2 fawns. And sure enough, they did not forget. They kept popping their head up and coming a little closer and popping their head up, got on that grass trail and came all the way up to me and just blew me out again. And there's no way that they smelled me because my wind was completely blowing the opposite direction. So definitely they just remembered that, hey, something ain't right up there. And think about it, guys, when you go and mess something up in this is like their living room, right? It's like their dining room. If you walk into your house and a painting or a picture's been moved, you realize it. It's the same thing with these animals. When they're used to seeing things a certain way and you disrupt that, they're curious of it. They're like, so don't, just little fawns. It was cool interaction altogether. I don't know. I stopped counting after 20, 25 does and fawns, and then right at dark, I could see him through my binos, but I was putting all my stuff away and I kind of looked up and there was a buck. It looked pretty good. I tried to pull my phone out real quick and video it. So here's a little clip of that, but he just ran off and he was just down by that tree that's in the middle of that field. I'll show you a better picture of that tree right here, but he was standing right in front of that, just standing there looking at me. And so looked like a pretty good buck from what I could see with my eyes or through the binos, but he didn't hang around long to get any footage. I mean, it's a cell phone, so did the best I could. But there's a little video of a buck. So all in all, I've had 2 great sits. I mean, guys, we are covered up in does and fawns out here, and that's why this is more of a rut-based farm, because we're holding so many doe that all the bucks in the neighborhood are going to come to this farm eventually. So I already have a new buck. Never seen this buck before. He came the night, so about 3:30, if I remember right. You can see here in the morning, and I'm assuming that since that was opening day, the neighbors across the street probably hunted and bumped that deer this way. But I've never seen that deer before, and he showed up the next early morning after I hunted the first time out here for the season. So guys, things are ramping up. I couldn't ask for more. I mean, literally just be covered up with action with deer the whole time, but you can only film so many doe and fawn before you need to start seeing some antlers. So enough of the slick heads. Let's get into these bucks. But that was really hopeful right there at last light to see a nice sized buck come out. And I would assume he's probably just bedded underneath that tree down there the whole day. Who knows? But guys, we're going to wrap this one up. So it's my first and second sit of the season. We're going to go ahead and throw it into an episode and put it out there for you guys. I know it's not a bunch of action, but it is just some things that we do in preparation for the season. And I'm going to show you this season the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything that we put into tracking down and killing one of these big mature deer. So guys, until next time, well, first, back it up. Hit that subscribe button. I mean, it's showing it like 60% of the people that are watching these videos aren't even subscribed to the YouTube channel. So get over to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you're notified when we're dropping these new episodes. And until next time, wake up and hunt.